Hiya, it's time for some feedback on our first lesson to with America. Hopefully we've got some really good ideas coming through understanding why the physical country or land of America makes it an ideal place for people to settle and is one of the reasons why it was so successful. What I want you doing is you can either write these answers down, you can add to your notes, you can develop your notes, doing what you need to do to take ownership, take responsibility for your notes. The first question you answered on forums was explain why the short rivers on the East Coast Plain are good for America. The East Coast Plain is good because there are lots of navigable rivers and fertile land. The navigable rivers were important initially because the settlers could travel quickly and move heavy goods. So the navigable rivers means you can move around. And you can't just move people around, you can move other things around. Okay? So you could move animals, you could move heavy materials such as wood, okay, such as rock, which means that you can settle in different places and you can use the river to move. Okay, imagine how hard it would be if you needed to move all your resources and you had to carry it by hand. However, you can put it on a barge and you can take that barge down the river and it speeds everything up and it makes it a lot easier. Okay, so that really helps them. There were no engines, so transportation via water, so a little bit of a mistake there, was key. The rivers also help water the fertile soil. This means crops could be grown. Having enough food allows the society to develop as they don't need to worry about having enough food. So that's a really important point there. If you've got rivers, you can irrigate the rivers, you can take water from the rivers and water your crops. Okay? If a community, if a country has enough food, it doesn't need to worry about what we call food security, and it can focus its attentions on other things. It can focus its attentions on developing new technologies, okay, or expanding or various other things. So that food security is really important, and that food security is linked in to the ideas of the fertile soil. Okay, so if you're not sure about any of the things I've just said, maybe write this answer down so you've got it there so you can think about it. Okay? So second question, explain why having oceans on two sides is a good thing for America. So remember the names of the two oceans, the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. I need you to know them. I'm going to ask you them moving forward time and time again. So get that map out in your planner, have a look at it, learn where they are. Okay, really, really important this. Having oceans on either side is excellent for America. The Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans, act as a natural barrier to stop invaders and unwanted people from entering. So if we go back historically when countries invaded each other and we had wars, countries couldn't invade America. You can't cross an ocean and then invade. Well, you could theoretically, but it would be so impossible, so hard to do against a civilized country because you could see them coming and they wouldn't be able to supply themselves. Okay, which creates a real sense of security. And if a country feels safe and secure, again, like if it's got food, it can focus on other things. It can develop in different ways. They're also amazing assets for trade. America can easily trade with both Asia and Europe, meaning they can sell their goods to lots of people. Or they can buy their goods from one country, Asia, for a cheap rate and sell to Europe at an expensive rate. Being in the middle of this huge trade network is really, really important for them. Okay, so straddling both oceans, okay, gives them this power that no other country has. Okay, and it's really, really important for them, and it's really powerful. The last question is kind of a synoptic question that links sort of everything we talked about in this lesson together, and hopefully you're able to pull out some of your ideas and sort of develop this sentence. I've not written one on the board because you can think about this now yourself. If you didn't do too well, feel free to have another go. America is blessed by geography, so America is fortunate by geography because you can talk about the resources. It's got them rivers, it's got the fertile soil. The rivers are full of fish, full of animals. The plains, it's got animals you can hunt. It's got fields where you can grow crops, okay? Which means if you can grow crops, you can sustain yourself, okay? It's also got loads of resources underground. We'll look at these a bit more as we move forward, okay? But it's got oil, it's got things that countries need. It's got excellent transport links. The small rivers and that sort of east coast make it brilliant for transporting things. But we stop and we think about it on a bigger scale, okay? It's got them two oceans, which are transport links, okay? It can go to Asia, it can go to Europe. And then finally, it's got natural protection. It's got the oceans which protect it. But the north, you've got Canada, which has got them huge, big mountain range, which is really hard to navigate your way through. In the south, you've got Mexico, where you've got a desert. Okay, now obviously, there are issues nowadays with people crossing them deserts to try and get into America, and that's something we're going to look at in a few weeks. Okay, Donald Trump's response to this, and you've all heard about him wanting to build a wall. He wants to build a wall through the desert, okay, to stop people getting in. Okay, and we're going to look at that, and that's going to link in with our new topic. But these three advantages really help America and really bless America. that is our session over for this week. So we've done some work. Make sure you've got some notes. That's our session on why the physical geography of America is so fortunate. That's it. I'll speak to you soon. Off we go. Bye.